Never-ending life theory. This theory is pretty simple. It suggests that when people die, they are reborn as a new person with no memory of their past life. It's like reincarnation, but without any religious context. About 22% of secular Europeans and 20% of secular Americans believe in this never-ending life, or cosmic, theory. This idea posits that our consciousness is part of the universe rather than tied to our bodies or a deity. When we die, our consciousness returns to the cosmos. Many people also believe that the end of the world and the universe will happen sometime between 1 and 100 trillion years from now. This is because the gas needed for star formation will eventually run out. As existing stars burn out and stop shining, the universe will gradually grow darker. This scenario is known as the Big Freeze or heat death. Egyptian pharaoh theory. In contrast to other beliefs about the afterlife where the soul departs the body, ancient Egyptians had a unique perspective. They believed that upon death, their physical body would persist in an afterlife much like their earthly existence. However, gaining entry into this realm wasn't a given. The deceased had to navigate a perilous journey through the underworld and undergo a final judgment before being admitted. Egyptian rulers, particularly the pharaohs, had a different outlook on death. They saw it as a temporary state and anticipated a return for a second life. To assist in this journey, tombs were adorned with texts aimed at guiding the soul. Personal belongings were also interred, their value reflecting the individual's social standing. Pharaohs' tombs, in particular, were stocked with immense wealth and various treasures. Simulation theory. This idea suggests that what we think of as reality might actually be a computer simulation, where humans are just part of the program. Philosopher Nick Bostrom supports this theory, pointing out that many tech experts and futurists believe we'll have incredible computing power in the future. Future generations might use this power to create detailed simulations of their ancestors or people like them. So, we could be living in one of those simulations right now. However, this would only work if future computers can create beings with consciousness, which many people find hard to believe. Parallel universe theory. This theory, often called the many worlds theory, is a popular concept in sci-fi movies and comic books, but some people believe there might be some truth to it. It suggests that when we die, we continue to exist in the same universe, just in a different part of space and time. According to this theory, every possible outcome to an action causes the world to split into a copy of itself. This happens instantly through a process known as decohesion, as described by a doctoral student from Princeton University. Writer Josh Clark likens this to a choose-your-own-adventure book, but instead of choosing which page to turn to, the universe splits so that every possible action is taken. Another interesting concept is the dream theory. This idea is more of a fun thought experiment than something based on scientific evidence. Dream theory suggests that we are currently living inside our own dream and that when we truly wake up, we begin a new reality. Many people speculate about this due to our ability to experience all our senses in dreams, such as taste, smell, and touch. Even Helen Keller, the famous deaf and blind author, reported in her memoirs that she could see and hear in her dreams, sensations she could never remember experiencing while awake. So, could life just be a giant, realistic dream? This idea is so intriguing that it might deserve an entire separate video just about dreams. Rastafarianism. Rastafarianism is an Abrahamic religion that started in Jamaica in the 1930s, and it's based on a unique take on the Bible. Rastafarians believe that Jesus was a black African and that the white Jesus is a false god, seeing Christianity as something created by white people to control and oppress others. Because of this, they are wary of Christianity and don't think the two faiths can mix. They believe they can't share the same God as their oppressors, and they view many Christian practices with skepticism. When it comes to death, Rastafarians see it as just moving from one realm to another. They believe the soul keeps going after physical life, as long as the person lived righteously. This perspective on death profoundly influences their cultural practices. Because of this belief, they don't hold traditional funerals. Instead, they celebrate the continued journey of the soul, often with gatherings that focus on life and spiritual progression rather than mourning. Additionally, Rastafarians often engage in rituals and practices aimed at maintaining purity and righteousness throughout their lives, reinforcing their belief in the eternal journey of the soul. Buddhist theory. Buddhists have a more complex view of reincarnation compared to the never-ending life theory. The rebirth doctrine in Buddhism asserts that rebirth occurs in one of 6 realms within samsara, the realms of gods, demigods, humans, animals, ghosts, and hell. According to various Buddhist traditions, rebirth is determined by karma, with good karma leading to rebirth in favorable realms and bad karma leading to rebirth in unfavorable realms. While nirvana is the ultimate goal in Buddhism, representing a state free from all worldly desires and focused solely on spiritual enlightenment, traditional Buddhist practice often emphasizes gaining merit. Merit, accumulated through good deeds and moral actions, can be transferred and helps ensure rebirth in the better realms, avoiding the less desirable ones. This focus on merit and karma underscores the Buddhist path to achieving a favorable rebirth and ultimately reaching nirvana. Drop your comments below and let us know which theory you're itching to try out. Christian theory. Christianity's take on the afterlife is probably the most famous. It's all about living a righteous life, honoring Jesus, and steering clear of materialism and ego. If you're on that path, the reward is heaven, where sin is a no-go, and you spend eternity praising God with the rest of the crew who made the cut. On the flip side, if you're not on board with God, it's eternal damnation in hell, where Satan hangs out. Christians don't have a precise checklist for getting into heaven or hell. Jesus was all about keeping things open-ended, so folks would follow him sincerely, not just to tick off boxes. As for what hell looks like, it's a bit of a mystery. Although Catholics believe that in 1917, Mary, the Mother of God, showed a vision of hell to 3 kids in Portugal, along with a peek into World War II, a disaster that hadn't even happened yet. Aztec theory. The Aztecs had this wild and intricate take on the afterlife, splitting it into 3 paths depending on how you kick the bucket. If you died in battle or during childbirth, you transform into a hummingbird and follow the sun. Natural causes? You're off to Mictlan, Aztec-style Satan's hangout. Here, you'd navigate through 9 levels of hell to free your soul. Now, onto the nothingness and uncertain theory. Nothingness, or eternal oblivion, is like hitting the off switch when you die. No consciousness, just darkness. It's a favorite among atheists, and depending on who you ask, it's either terrifying or oddly comforting. According to a Pew Research Center study, 17% of Americans are on board with this idea. Then there's the uncertain theory. It's like saying, who knows? Maybe death isn't just a big void, but we can't say for sure. It's a, let's not jump to conclusions, kind of deal. After all, as per the uncertain theory, it's impossible to really know what happens when we shuffle off this mortal coil, so why bother fussing over it? Mormon theory. There's a big debate over whether Mormons fit into the Christian fold or if they're heading down a different path altogether. Critics often point to their beliefs about the afterlife as evidence of their divergence. Mormon views on death start out similar to mainstream Christianity. Bad folks go to hell, and good ones make it to heaven. But their take on heaven is where things get complex. It's split into 3 degrees of glory: celestial, terrestrial, and celestial kingdoms. The top tier, the celestial kingdom, is the creme de la creme. Here, you're chilling with God for eternity, keeping the family vibe going, and even becoming gods yourselves. You get to create worlds, have spirit kids, and just bask in power and glory forever. However, some Mormons deny that these beliefs are part of their official teachings. They claim it's all a misunderstanding or misinterpretation of Mormon sermons. This leaves a lot of folks scratching their heads, debating what Mormons really believe. Paranormal theory. Similar to the multiverse theory we touched on earlier, the paranormal theory encompasses a range of ideas about the supernatural realm, often extending beyond the boundaries of mainstream scientific understanding. It frequently serves as the basis for many horror films. Despite its unconventional nature, paranormal theory garners significant attention, with studies indicating that roughly 4 in 10 Americans believe in ghosts. This suggests that discussions about the paranormal are fairly common. According to this theory, after death, our souls linger on Earth, a concept often linked to ghost sightings or unexplained phenomena. Furthermore, it's commonly believed that communication with these spirits is feasible through various means, including Ouija boards, ghost hunting equipment, and even through dreams. Egg theory. The egg theory originates from a well-known fictional internet narrative penned by Andy Weir in 2009. This tale revolves around a protagonist referred to as you, who encounters the narrator, identified as God. In the story, you are depicted as a 48-year-old man who perishes in a car accident, only to meet God, who reveals that you have been reincarnated numerous times before. God informs you that your next incarnation will be as a Chinese peasant girl in 540 AD. Furthermore, God elucidates the concept that you are continuously reincarnated throughout history, with all human beings past, present, and future being incarnations of you. Eventually, God unveils the existence of other godlike entities and prophesies that you will ascend to godhood after experiencing every human life. The underlying premise of this theory is rooted in the ancient adage, "What goes around comes around," but it takes this concept to a profound extent. While not widely embraced, this narrative has garnered significant popularity on the internet since its publication, prompting discussion and consideration. Hindu theory. The Hindu perspective on death and the afterlife encompasses a diverse range of interpretations, making it challenging to condense into a single ideology. Nonetheless, there are several shared themes and concepts within Hindu thought that are widely recognized. Hindu views on death bear striking similarities to those of Buddhism, particularly concerning karma, dharma, moksha, and reincarnation. However, there are notable distinctions, such as the presence of distinct Hindu priests, rituals, and adherence to the caste system. According to Hindu traditions, the soul is perceived as an eternal essence of a living being, undergoing a cycle of reincarnations until achieving self-knowledge. In contrast, Buddhism posits a theory of rebirth devoid of a permanent self. Despite these differences, both religions share a profound exploration of the nature of existence and the journey of the soul. Frozen head theory. The concept of cryogenics, also known as the freezing of human heads, isn't primarily concerned with the afterlife. Rather, it's a speculative practice believed by some to circumvent death or the afterlife entirely. It entails the freezing of bodies in cryogenic nitrogen chambers upon death, with the hope that future medical advancements will enable revival. As of January 2022, no cryogenically preserved individual has been revived, and the scientific feasibility of such revival remains uncertain. Nonetheless, despite this uncertainty, approximately 500 people, mostly from the United States, have been subjected to cryogenic stasis following legal death.